Powerstone, Dan. Go on.
Okay, so Powerstone 2 is something that we have kind of mentioned ever so slightly in passing the last couple of weeks. And so I just want to spend some time talking about it and kind of get some input from you lot. So obviously we've talked about the Dreamcast previously, which is why it came up. We talked a little bit about Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which was easily one of the strongest side-on fighting games that I've played.
The theme song for that game was one of the best theme songs ever.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take you for a ride. Yeah, it sounds bad. And Powerstone 2, however, was something really special to me. The first one was brilliant. I mean, what they are, for anyone who's not aware, is they're kind of a diagonal looking down at a room in the first one with various objects in it, like crates and benches and vending machines and all sorts. And then you've got up to 4 players in the room, run around this room, can pick up these items, can throw them at each other, and can beat each other up. But these gems also appear, which are the Power Stones, which once you get a bunch of them, you turn into an alternative version of yourself, and you can deck enemies even more. I mean, the Power Stones were obviously, they gave the game its name, but it wasn't that makes Power Stone 2 super memorable for me. So in Power Stone 2, you're fighting in these arenas and the maps sometimes change. So sometimes you'll have to rush to get on an elevator and it takes you to another floor, or sometimes a lump of the map just disappears. But it's the items in Power Stone 2 that make it super memorable for me, because you start and there's probably about 20 or 30 items between all of the game's levels. But you can then, once you've used them in a match and once you've found certain other items, you can go to a place in the options menu and kind of spend some of the currency you've earned for playing the game to combine these items. So you might combine the extending stick, which is similar to the mythological monkey stick, with an umbrella. And so in which case you'd get a extending umbrella that can then obviously push people from greater distances. And they had literally hundreds and hundreds of these items that you unlocked, and then they started appearing in the game. So you could attach a sword to a broom, and you could attach a this to a that. And all of a sudden, the more you played this game, the more wild and wacky combinations you could find and add to it. And while Super Smash Brothers, which obviously 2D side on as opposed to that angle, while Super Smash Brothers has got an absolute mass of items that you can have dropped in, you never really unlocked them per se, and so it gave an extra sense of ownership to the game. And that's before we even get on to any of the other bits in the game, like the little virtual mini games that you could do on the little carry around thing. But yeah, I think fighting games where you unlock stuff and get to retain it, which ties back into what I always say about Marvel vs. Capcom 2's excellent character unlocking system, really need to make a return. And I do think that Power Stone 2 or maybe one day Power Stone 3 could really work well on the competitive gaming circuit as well.
Well, I can certainly see it making an appearance, because Sega have already said that Dreamcast games are going to make their way to their, what's that service they've just started out?
Which service is that?
They're bringing out a load of old games on Android and iOS. So they started out with Sonic, and there's I can't remember, Golden Axe, I think, and Strider perhaps. But I think I think Sonic Adventure and Crazy Taxi are already available on Android and iOS. But they're gonna re-release them, and So basically, I can't remember what the name of it is, but Sega are basically starting up almost like they think hopefully they're going to try and make it into almost like a Netflix of games on mobile devices. So you can either pay. I think you can download the games for free, and they've got ads in them, or you can pay, I think it's about $1.99 for the Mega Drive games and get rid of the ads. And the plan is to release tons and tons and tons of them and go back through their entire library.
Oh, this is Sega Forever.
Yes, Sega Forever. That's the one. Well done, Dan. But yeah, they've already said Dreamcast games are coming, so I can see Powerstone Powerstone 2 making its way to Android at least. I think Forever is going to make its way to PC as well at some point.
Yeah, I mean, they have redone the Mega Drive system, haven't they? Because they had the Sega Classics on Steam, which was the Mega Drive or Master System games, wasn't it? And they changed the interface so that you're in a room where you were putting bits and bobs in. It would be nice if Forever made it over, and it would be great if Powerstone 2 made it onto that, and hopefully that would trigger a resurgence. Because I mean, Capcom always feel like they're stumbling around, failing to figure out something new to make. I mean, a lot of their games are getting very, they keep making Resident Evils because it earned them some money once, and
they've just released Street Fighter 2 for the 174th time on the Switch.
Exactly. That's the other thing. They keep releasing Street Fighters because that made them some money once, and it's obviously got a good scene. And then the guy who was one of the guys who was working on Monster Hunter was like, I've got a new idea for a project. And it was Dragon's Dogma, which was absolutely mind-blowing. And then they've started turning Monster Hunter into Dragon's Dogma now. So, Capcom always feel like they're just waiting for a break. And I honestly think that getting back to Power Stone could do them really well. Did anyone else here play Power Stone 2?
Yeah, I actually just looked through my folder of games and found that I've got... Hang on, actually, I didn't check whether it was 1 or 2. But I've got one of them in my folder. I think it's number 1.
Yeah, I bought a Dreamcast specifically because of Power Stone.
Oh yeah, I've got the first one. I'm looking at it here.
I never played Power Stone 2 because I was broke at the time. But yeah, I mean, Power Stone was a great game. I'm not really sure how much of a demand for it there would be right now. I do think it's definitely a game that time forgot. So yeah, I mean, hey, it'd be cool if it came back. I don't know if it's going to happen though.
I can kind of see games coming back from the past, because I mean, we've obviously seen the Mega Man Legacy collections that have been coming out recently, and obviously with Sonic Mania doing massive amounts of sales. I can see companies going, well, maybe there is a market for our stuff now. We can bring them back. I mean, I'd love to see a new Ghouls and Ghosts. That'd be the greatest thing ever. I mean, I know there was, what was it, Maximo on PlayStation, but
yep. And don't forget, also you had Castilia Maldita, and there's Battle Princess Madeline as well.
Yes, I was going to mention that.
Well, that's a spiritual sequel, isn't it? Basically, so
the both of those are really, really cool looking. I mean, George actually played Battle. It was you played it and enjoyed it, and Castilia Maldita, probably saying that completely wrong, which came out before and has slowly bled round to pretty much every console under the sun now. That was absolutely fantastic as well.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of see this, like this Sega Forever thing, almost being a kind of test bed. They can go, oh, hang on, we've just released Echo again, and that's sold a crap ton of money. And also, I mean, this also ties into Sonic Mania as well, because obviously they've had Christian Whitehead and Pagoda West and Headcanon do Sonic Mania, and I'm just wondering whether Sega are going to keep them around and almost create almost like a retro team. So they go, right, you did well with Sonic Mania, right? Do Echo, now do this, and there's a potential there, I think, to bring back a lot of the old games again.
Hey! How about a new Bonanza Bros?
Oh, Jesus. Bonanza or Dynamite Ducks.
Dynamite Ducks.
You guys are showing your age.
Yeah. I would say Spy vs. Spy, but they already tried that on Xbox and it was awful.
I mean, don't get me wrong, but Spy vs. Spy, as it released, was a really good concept, executed really badly, and it's aged terribly. I mean, I know exactly what that game's trying to do, but there's so many different ways looking back that they could have done it that would have, worked better. It just was quite obtuse for a game.
Yeah.
I know that people who liked it loved it, but I think everybody else was just like, I don't get it, but I'm going to say it was really good.
Yeah, but I mean, I definitely think that what I'd class as the older school of developers should definitely start looking more into their old franchise, because all the companies have got so many franchises. I mean, obviously we can write off Konami because all they're doing now is we'll make a Silent Hill pachinko machine, As long as they don't go down that route, and I do think with obviously the resurgence of very retro styled indie games and things like again Sonic Mania that's done gangbusters, I think it's now a good time for companies to start going, well, we've got a lot of these things that we could bring back. How about a new Streets of Rage, Dan?
Yeah, no, very true. I mean, remember that it's not just us. It's not just you old people that are buying old games.
Exactly, it's getting popular with the younger crowd as well. Yeah,
I mean, there are younger people that are getting bought Sonic Mania right now that were born after Sonic Adventure came out and are playing this game, and it's something new and fresh to them. And there's people playing indie. I mean, at Gamescom, I met people who were born after the PS1 came out, obviously, and talked to them about games, and they're developing games, and they've never played or heard of any of these brands that were long running and were staples before.
Yeah.
But they're seeing these games that were influenced by those. And so, yes, if there was a new Echo the Dolphin come out, people would be like, oh, I don't think I've ever heard of a game where you play as a dolphin before. This is pretty good.
Yeah, it would be a new thing again. It would be new again.
If we're talking about games that need a revival, if I can put my own little personal thing in here.
Go ahead.
Suikoden 6. I want to see a sequel to Suikoden. I love those games. If you haven't played them, I highly recommend checking them out. It's an old series.
And actually, also, just to bring something up that was revealed just, I think, yesterday, Secret of Mana's getting a remake.
Oh, yes. I look forward to that.
See, I think now is ripe to, I mean, it goes against the grain because obviously people always say, well, we want new ideas. But I think with, the mass, how many young people played Shovel Knight because it was a massive game and went, this looks interesting. This was influenced by NES games. I'm going to look up Nintendo and some of their old games and were massively, found, to them, brand new experiences that they'd never seen before. I think there is an untapped market there for people to go, well, the games you played now, they used to be better. Here you go. Have this game that we made 30 years ago. It looks better now. Have a bash at that. And it would just I'm losing all my words today, I swear. But just reinvigorate, a lot of these old things. Like I said, Streets of Rage, Final Fight. They could do a new one of them, although they've already done a couple of updates to that when they was both rubbish. But yeah, Echo, Ghouls and Ghosts.
There's a lot of games that could be revived for sure. I think we kind of strayed from the topic, but I think Dan, you should put out a poll. See how many people are interested in Powerstone coming back, and start your own little campaign there. I'll support you.
But going back to what Dan was saying about because Powerstone is basically an isometric Smash Brothers, and if they were to do one, they could easily glide in on the coattails of Smash Brothers and get it into an eSports kind of level, I reckon.
Don't forget as well that they already have Street Fighter, so they could just take Powerstone along and force it to have an audience.
Yeah. Well, all they'd have to do is make a new Powerstone and put a few Street Fighter characters in it as special unlockable characters, and then jobs are good.
Agreed. Capcom, checks in the post.
Yes. But anyway, I think that's all from us this week, ladies and gentlemen. So it's goodbye from me. And obviously, once again, we'll go through the field. This week we had Dan.
Goodbye.
And George.
That was such a thoughtful goodbye. Anyways, goodbye.
And Mr. Toby.
Goodbye.
And that's it. Goodbye from us at Big Boss Battle. See you next time.